The one who goes against the current will not be heard until they become a storm. Truth does not tolerate weakness. It demands strength, will, and a complete rejection of comfort. It's time to leave the familiar paths behind and step into the unknown. This video is based on Nietzsche's philosophy and will be interesting and valuable to those who seek to understand the true nature of life and the strength of spirit, to those who aim to break old chains and rise higher. Well then, let's begin. There is a moment, a singular point in time, when your soul stands at the threshold of the impossible. You feel it deep within. Your heart pounds like a war drum, your breath shortens, your mind whispers every excuse it can conjure. This is too much. You are not ready. This is beyond you. Lies. Every single one. The impossible is not your enemy. It is your gatekeeper. It stands before you not to block your path, but to demand proof. Proof that you are worthy. Proof that you are willing to burn, to suffer, to transform. You are no longer a child clinging to certainty. You are a force that bends reality to your will, but only if you step forward. Do you feel that fear? Let it sink into your bones. Let it grip you. That fear is the first step towards something greater than yourself. Lesser minds turn away at this moment. They return to the warmth of mediocrity, to the comfort of the known. But comfort has never built empires. It has never created gods. Take what you believe to be impossible and hold it in your hands. Examine it. It terrifies you because it reveals the smallness of your current self. But here is the secret no one tells you. You are not meant to remain who you are. You were born to outgrow yourself, to shed old skins like a serpent, to leave behind the person who once doubted, hesitated, surrendered. Set a goal so vast, so unattainable, that it fractures the limits of your mind. Let it consume you. Let it haunt your dreams. Let it turn your blood to fire. And then when the world tells you it cannot be done, smile. Because they do not understand what you have already seen, the truth that exists beyond fear, beyond hesitation. You have already won. The only thing left is for the rest of the world to realize it. Shatter the walls of reality. You stand before an iron gate, towering and unmovable. It looms over you, whispering with the cold certainty of every limitation you have ever accepted. This is impossible, the world says. You will fail. You are reaching beyond your place. And for a moment, you believe it. You have been trained to. But then, something shifts. A crack forms, not in the gate, but in your mind. A single question emerges, fragile yet defiant. What if this was possible? The moment these words take shape, the walls of reality begin to tremble. The impossible is not a fact. It is an illusion. A fortress built by cowards and passed down through generations like an heirloom of submission. You have lived within its confines, mistaking its shadows for truth, its bars for the edges of the world. But now, with a single thought, the foundations weaken. What if? What if there was a way? What if you were capable of more? What if the laws you have obeyed were never laws at all, but merely the echoes of lesser men who dared not challenge them? Something awakens inside you. The idea takes root and spreads like wildfire. Suddenly, you see the cracks everywhere, flaws in the system, gaps in the logic of limitation. Those who once seemed invincible appear small. The gate before you, once impenetrable, is nothing but rust and decay. Because here is the truth. The moment you ask what if, you are no longer a prisoner. You are an architect. The walls of your old world collapse, and in their place, a new one rises. One you have built with your own hands, your own defiance, your own relentless will. Now, there is no turning back. The question has been asked, and the answer is already forming. You are no longer the person you were a moment ago. You have become something else, something dangerous, something limitless. And soon, the world will know it. Learn from those who have already done the impossible. You see them standing above the world, figures of legend, giants who have bent reality to their will. Their names are spoken with reverence, their deeds carved into history as if they were inevitable. But do not be deceived. They were not born with fire in their veins. They were not chosen by fate. They were once like you, doubting, uncertain, caged within the limits of the possible. There was a time when they were ignored, when their voices were drowned in the laughter of the many. They stood alone in the dark, trembling before the same walls you now face. But instead of surrendering, they learned. They studied the paths of those who came before them, traced the scars of past victories, stole wisdom from those who had already torn through the fabric of the impossible. You must do the same. Find those who have already walked through fire and study the ashes they left behind. Not to worship them, but to understand them. They are not myths. They are proof. Proof that the walls are breakable, that the limits can be shattered, that the impossible is nothing but a word used by the weak to explain their failure. Do not mistake admiration for action. It is not enough to watch, to read, to whisper their names in awe. You must take their lessons and make them your own. You must stand where they stood, bleed as they bled, fight as they fought. Because the world does not need another follower. It does not need another dreamer lost in admiration. It needs the next one. The next force to rise, to challenge, to break the chains for those who come after. The gods were once mortal, and now it is your turn. Challenge the laws of reality. Many rules exist only in the mind. You have been told what is possible. Since the day you took your first breath, the world has whispered its limits into your ears, branding them onto your flesh like an iron mark of submission. This cannot be done. That is beyond you. The rules are set. But who decided these rules? Who wrote this invisible law that binds your hands and shackles your will? Look deeper. There are no rules. There are only agreements, unspoken, unquestioned, passed down through generations like a disease of the mind. Society has built its walls high, not to protect you, but to contain you. The greatest trick ever played was convincing you that these walls are real. But you are here now, and you are beginning to see the cracks. Every great mind that has walked before you saw what you are now seeing, that reality is negotiable, that the laws of the possible are written in sand, not stone. The ones who changed the world were not the ones who obeyed its rules, but the ones who dared to redefine them. They looked at what was considered impossible and tore it apart. They shattered the boundaries, rewrote the laws, bent existence to their will. Do not be fooled. This power is not reserved for the few. It belongs to those who are willing to take it. Dare to see beyond the veil. Dare to question, to push, to destroy what you are taught to accept. Bend the rules until they break. Mock the impossible until it submits. Reality does not own you, you own it. And when the dust settles, when the old world has crumbled at your feet, they will call you a visionary, a madman, a god. But you will know the truth. Turn fear into fuel. Adrenaline and anxiety are not your enemies, but your engine. You feel it, don't you? That cold grip tightening around your throat, the weight in your chest pressing down like an iron hand. Your pulse quickens, your breath turns shallow. Fear is here. And the world has told you to run from it, to silence it, to bury it deep where it can never touch you. But what if they were wrong? What if fear is not your enemy, but your most powerful weapon? Fear is raw energy. It is the force that has kept humanity alive for millennia. It sharpens your senses, floods your veins with adrenaline, prepares your body for war. It does not come to paralyze you, it comes to wake you up. The problem is not fear itself. The problem is that you have never been taught how to use it. Most people see fear and retreat. They shrink, they hesitate, they allow it to cage them in the smallness of their own existence. But you will not be like them. You will not run. You will take this wild, untamed energy and forge it into a weapon. When you feel fear, do not resist it. Let it burn through you. Let it heighten your awareness. Let it pull you into the moment with absolute clarity. Let it remind you that you are standing at the edge of something vast, something life-changing. If you are not afraid, it would mean you are not pushing hard enough, not risking enough, not growing. The weak will tell you that fear is a reason to stop. But the truth is simple. Fear is proof that you are alive. Fear is proof that you are stepping into something greater than yourself. It is not a warning to retreat. It is a signal to charge forward. Control it, master it, and let it drive you. Make fear your fuel. Because the ones who learn to harness it, to ride the fire instead of being consumed by it, they are the ones who shape the world. Stop waiting for approval. You have been waiting. Waiting for them to nod in agreement, to clap their hands, to tell you that you are on the right path. You crave their approval like a starving man craves bread. You have been taught that this is how success looks: acceptance, validation, recognition. But that is the first and greatest lie. Because those who truly break the world open are never welcomed at first. They are ridiculed, shunned, feared. Their ideas are called madness, their visions dismissed as foolishness. They are not understood because they are the first to walk a path no one else can see. And when you are the first, you walk alone. If everyone understands you, it means you're still speaking the language of the ordinary. If no one resists you, it means you're not yet pushing hard enough. Greatness does not ask for permission. It does not wait to be invited. It does not bend to the comfort of the crowd. Every revolutionary, every genius, every force that has reshaped history had to stand against a tide of doubt and rejection. They were called dangerous, arrogant, insane. They were told to stop, to be realistic, to fall back in line. But they did not come to be understood. They came to destroy, to rebuild, to carve their names into the bones of the world. You must decide. Do you want to be accepted, or do you want to be remembered? Let them misunderstand you. Let them mock you. Let them call you reckless, foolish, lost. Smile, because it means you are finally stepping beyond their reach. The future does not belong to those who wait for approval. It belongs to those who dare to claim it. Learn to tolerate pain and discomfort. The impossible is only achieved by the persistent. The road to the impossible is paved with suffering. You will bleed. You will break. You will stand at the edge of exhaustion, staring into the abyss, and the abyss will stare back, daring you to step forward. This is the moment where most turn away, where the weak whisper to themselves that it was never meant to be, where comfort, that great seducer, opens its arms and offers them a way out. But comfort is a lie. Comfort is the slow poison that rots the will and chains the soul. Nothing great has ever been born from comfort. Every god, every conqueror, every force that has ever reshaped the world has done so through pain. They did not run from it, they embraced it. Pain is your teacher, your fire, your proving ground. It will strip away everything false, leaving only the core of who you are. It will show you the truth, that you are stronger than you think, that your limits were nothing but illusions, that the body breaks long before the spirit ever does. Most will never learn this. They will flinch at the first sting of discomfort. They will abandon their dreams the moment the price becomes real. But you are not most people. You are here to take what others fear to claim. Let pain shape you. Let it refine you into something unbreakable. When your muscles scream, push harder. When your mind begs for rest, sharpen your focus. When the world tells you to stop, take another step. Because the impossible is not conquered by those who try, it is conquered by those who endure. The question is not whether you will suffer. The question is whether you will suffer and keep going. Those who do become legends. Those who don't become dust. Stop saying, "I'll try," either do it or don't. You speak the words, "I will try," but in truth, you are already surrendering. The very act of saying these words reveals the cracks in your resolve. Try is a half-hearted promise. It is the cloak of hesitation, the shield of doubt. And worst of all, it is the permission to fail without consequence. No more trying. When you say, "I will try," you are not committing to anything. You are leaving room for escape. You are preparing your failure before you even begin. What is the point of setting out on a path if you are already anticipating your retreat? If you want to conquer, you must speak in absolutes. Either you will do it, or you will not. And there is no third option. The universe does not care for your excuses. It does not acknowledge your trying. It only reacts to action. To those who dare to make a decision, to those who burn their bridges behind them and march forward without hesitation. In the moment of decision, you must stand unshakable. There is no room for doubt, no room for maybe. You will give everything you have, and if you fall, you will rise again. But you will never stand still in the limbo of try. Those who try waste their lives in the gray zone of indecision, never truly living, never truly becoming. The question is simple: are you committed to your vision, or are you only committed to the comfort of possibility? Because only those who are willing to step beyond try will find themselves on the other side of greatness. The rest will be forgotten, their dreams never realized, their potential never unleashed. You are not here to try. You are here to do. And if you cannot say that, then turn back. But know this: those who commit to doing will carve their names into the annals of history. Be persistent to the point of madness. There comes a point in every great journey where the line between genius and madness begins to blur. The moment when the world calls you insane, when your vision seems so far beyond their comprehension that they label it as folly, that is the moment you must step closer to your truth. To be truly great, you must walk the razor's edge between sanity and madness. The ones who have reshaped history were never the ones who played it safe, who followed the conventional path, who stayed within the comfortable boundaries of reason. They were the ones who refused to let go of their dream, even as the world screamed at them to stop. They were the ones who allowed their obsession to consume them, to drive them, to transform them into something beyond the ordinary. Genius is not found in the calm, steady minds who accept the world as it is. It is found in the mad souls who burn with a fire so fierce that they cannot be extinguished by doubt, by ridicule, or by the shackles of society. Persistence, relentless, unyielding, almost insane persistence, is the seed of greatness. The world will tell you that you are pushing too far, too hard, too fast. They will tell you that you are losing yourself, that you are risking too much. But the moment you stop, the moment you begin to listen, is the moment you surrender your destiny. So go further. Go until it hurts. Go until the edges of reality begin to bend and the only thing left is the fierce will to create, to become, to be something more than they ever imagined. There is no path to greatness that does not involve madness. The greatest minds in history were often called mad, but they were also the ones who transformed the world. Keep pushing, keep questioning, keep breaking, because the price of greatness is not just hard work, it is the willingness to embrace the madness that comes with it. And in the end, when you stand on the mountaintop of your own creation, you will know it was not madness that led you here, it was the genius of never stopping. Change your angle of view. You stand before a problem that refuses to bend, that mocks your efforts, that looms like a dark shadow in your path. It is heavy, suffocating, immovable. The world tells you that this is the end, that there is no way forward. They say you must accept your defeat. But what if this problem is not a wall to be climbed, but a door waiting to be unlocked? The key to solving what seems impossible lies not in force, but in perspective. The greatest minds of history have not been those who broke their bodies against obstacles, but those who learned to see the world differently. When you change your angle of vision, you may discover that the obstacle is not a barrier. It is simply a reflection of your limited view. The problem does not need to be solved with brute force. It needs to be seen with eyes that are not afraid to question everything. The ones who break free are those who refuse to look at the world with the same tired eyes as everyone else. They do not see the same obstacles, the same limits. They look at the same problem and see a new path, a hidden doorway, a solution that was always there but had been overlooked. What is impossible today may only be impossible because you have been looking at it from the wrong angle. You must be willing to let go of your certainty. You must be willing to suspend your assumptions, to abandon the comforting thoughts that tell you there is only one way forward. The moment you stop forcing, stop fighting the problem in the same old way, is the moment the solution will appear. What if the answer is not to push harder, but to look around, to question everything you know, and to see the problem from a new perspective? The greatest breakthroughs in history came not from people who never faced obstacles, but from those who refused to see obstacles as obstacles. They redefined what the problem was, and in doing so, they changed the course of the world. Change your perspective. and the impossible will unravel before your eyes. What once seemed an insurmountable wall may become the very bridge you need to cross. Expect betrayal and don't be surprised. People are afraid of those who break boundaries. You walk the line between greatness and madness, daring to do what others only whisper about in fear. You challenge the norms, you break the rules, you push the very limits of what they say is possible. And as you rise, as you shatter the walls that have held the world in place for centuries, you will feel the cold sting of betrayal. Why? Because people fear the ones who break boundaries. They fear the light you cast on their shadows, the noise you make as you tear apart the comfortable silence they have built for themselves. To step into your power is to awaken in others their deepest fears, the fear of being irrelevant, the fear of being exposed, the fear of change. And so they lash out. Those who break the rules are always a threat to the established order. Those who dare to become more than ordinary are a danger to the comfortable lives of those around them. They will call you reckless, arrogant, insane, because your very existence challenges everything they believe to be true. You will face betrayal, not from your enemies, but from those closest to you. They will smile to your face, but in the shadows, they will plot against you. Their loyalty is not to your vision, but to their own fear. The moment you outgrow them, the moment you make them uncomfortable with your progress, they will turn. They will betray you, not because they want to, but because they must. Do not be surprised. Expect it. In fact, welcome it. Betrayal is a badge of honor. It is proof that you are on the path of greatness. It is the price you pay for being a force that cannot be ignored. When you break boundaries, you force others to see the world differently. You force them to confront their own limitations, and that is a terrifying thing. But remember this, betrayal is not the end. It is simply the moment when you realize that you are no longer bound by the same rules as the rest of them. You have entered a world where only the brave survive, where only the relentless rise to the top. So when the betrayal comes, and it will, do not recoil in fear or anger. Use it as fuel to move forward. Let the cold hands of those who fear you be the very ones that push you to break even further, to rise even higher. In the end, the ones who betray you will be nothing but stepping stones on your way to becoming what the world was too afraid to imagine. Develop iron discipline. Chaos around you does not justify chaos within. The world is a tempest, unpredictable, chaotic, constantly shifting. It screams for attention, pulling you in 1,000 directions, offering you distractions, temptations, and excuses. The noise is deafening, the demands are endless, and the moment you take your focus off your purpose, the world will swallow you whole. But there is a singular truth that the weak refuse to understand. Chaos on the outside is not an excuse for chaos on the inside. The storms of life, the disorder that surrounds you, cannot justify the decay of your own discipline. You must not bend to it. You must not let it corrupt your focus, your will, your vision. The mark of greatness lies in the ability to remain steadfast, calm, and ruthless in the face of the whirlwind. What separates those who ascend from those who fall is not the external circumstances, but the unshakable discipline that burns within. To rise above the tumult, you must cultivate a mind that is harder than steel, a spirit that cannot be fractured by the madness of the world. The chaos outside will never cease. It will always try to claim your attention, to drag you into its depths. But only those who can silence its call, who can focus their energy amidst the noise, will ever achieve greatness. You may be battered by the world, tested by forces beyond your control, but inside you must remain untouched. Your discipline, like an iron fortress, must hold firm against the chaos, against the distractions, against the excuses. The external world does not dictate who you are or who you will become. Only your inner strength, your ability to impose order on your mind, can define you. Do not allow the noise to seep into your soul. The chaos around you is not a reason to lose control. It is a challenge to strengthen your resolve. In a world of madness, be the calm. In a sea of distractions, be the one who stays on course. Because those who master their inner chaos are the ones who will shape the world, not be shaped by it. Remember, the world will always be chaotic. The question is, Will you be its servant, or will you rise above it, unscathed, with iron discipline guiding you forward? Stop waiting for the perfect moment. It will never come. You've been taught to wait for the stars to align, for the conditions to be just right, to wait until you're ready, until the fear subsides, until the world is perfect. But here is the cruel truth. The perfect moment will never come. The universe does not reward the passive, the ones who hesitate, the ones who wait for the ideal conditions. It does not wait for your convenience. Perfection is the enemy of action. The moment you think you are ready, the moment you convince yourself that the time has come, is the moment you have already wasted. There will always be an excuse. There will always be a reason not to act, a reason to delay, a reason to stay in the comfort of inaction. But those who wait for the perfect moment will only live in the shadow of missed opportunities. You see, greatness is not born in the silence of waiting, but in the chaos of doing. The real moment of power is not when everything is perfect. It is when everything is imperfect, and yet you move forward. Greatness is born when you act, not when you wait. It is forged in the fires of uncertainty, not in the safety of calm. It is not the perfect moment that matters. It is the courage to act in spite of imperfection. The ones who change the world are not those who wait for the right time. They are the ones who take action, who push forward even when the world seems wrong, who make their moment by doing, by daring to act without guarantee. Your hesitation is your enemy. Your doubts are chains that bind you. The only moment that matters is the one right now. There is no perfect time, no ideal circumstances. There is only the now. The time is always now, and if you do not seize it, it will slip away as quickly as it came. Stop waiting. The perfect moment is a lie. The time to act is now, or you will live forever in the shadow of what could have been. As you stand on the edge of your own potential, remember, the world will never wait for you to be ready. Embrace the chaos, break the rules, and act now. The impossible becomes possible only when you choose to rise above fear and doubt. So take that first step. The moment is now, and the power is yours. Go forth with unwavering discipline, unshakable resolve, and a burning passion to reshape your world. The boundaries are yours to break. Now, go and become the force that nothing can stop.